I really don't like people to call me a superwoman any longer. I get a little offended. Although
like
I'm
Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm.
yes, Wonder Woman. No, we're not. And that's what I've learned to understand. No, I want to be loved. I want to be taken care of, and it's okay.
Welcome to the Femme Fit Entrepreneurs Podcast. We're your hosts, Aurelia Michael Holmgren and Britt Inez. Here we talk all things health, wealth, womanhood, and of course, ownership. So sit back or stand up straight on that treadmill and enjoy today's episode. All right, welcome back. Aurelia Michael Holmgren here, one half of your hostesses with the mostesses of Femme Fit Chicks podcast. And do not adjust your screen. I said, if you're watching this, do not adjust your screen. We have an incredible guest amongst us. And yes, this is our first time ever having a guest. And of course, we don't just do it regular, we do it big. So I am so excited to introduce to you all the incredible, the talented, new IFBB Bikini Pro. Yeah, she got 2 cards behind her, okay? Because one is not enough. Miss Gwen Green. You know, from New York, we got to hype it up. Welcome. So, what I am so excited about, one is you're our first guest. Mm-hmm. 2, this is my first time ever doing an interview. So I feel like real official. You know, hold on, is that dust? Let me dust my shoulders off. I'm feeling real official. And 3, I have questions to ask you that I have not asked anyone. I have not talked about in the public. So I'm excited to learn about you as everyone else does. So please tell us a bit about you. Who are you? Doesn't have to just be by label. I'm more about by life experience. Where are you? And tell us anything else you want to share, because I'm ready to learn.
Oh, wow. Wow. Thank you so much for the interview. I am so honored to be like your first guest. I would have thought, you know, you guys had this podcast forever, maybe because I feel like I know you and your other half, Britt, by YouTube. You guys do a great job. You've kept me motivated throughout my entire prep. I'm so happy to get to see me on YouTube going through the prep, especially this year. It really helped me. I just want to put this out here before we go into me. It helped me really to stick with it. So thank you guys for all my cardio. I really appreciate all of you guys.
Absolutely.
All of you guys. Thank you so much.
The vlog squad loves you.
Oh, I love you guys too. Thank you so much. A little bit about me. Wow. Okay. So Gwen Green, I am a mom of 3 children. I love this sport because it started out to be a bucket list. The bodybuilding started out to be a bucket list in 2015. And I was really a one and done person in 2015 going through prep. I said the entire time, that 3 or 4 months, I said, oh no, we're going to do this one time and that's going to be it. And it literally wasn't until show day that getting on stage that I discovered, like, oh my gosh, I really like this sport, but I had to tweak it. I had to figure out some other variables because I think it was the way I did it. It was a meal-based approach, and it wasn't sustainable just because by then I had I had 2 children. I had 2 children and the diet was just a little bit too strict, but I learned a lot about food, and I'm glad. I know anything in my life, I've learned to take the lessons and what do I need to learn from every part of my life. So I took those lessons and then I started to tweak. And now here we are in 2024. So going back to who am I, just not a mom. I'm so proud to be a mother. First of all, I have 3 children, but I'm also a businesswoman. I own a cybersecurity company, a government contracting company. So that's how I make my money. And
Okay, because bodybuilding take the money. That's all right.
no. That just helps me to bodybuilding helps me to do everything else and to walk into multiple roles, and it keeps me
Absolutely.
structured. It really just
Love
gives
it.
me a little more structure because you've been in prep. You got to make sure you account for those cardio sessions and
Yep.
have everything that is a timetable, right? So I make sure that I it keeps me motivated in all areas of my life, bodybuilding. But so when I'm not running a company, and I'm also in consulting, a cybersecurity consultant. So I work in the company and I work outside the company and I do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. As I mentioned, I have three children, a 16-year-old boy. He's 16 actually next week, an 11-year-old girl, and a 7-year-old boy. So they keep me nice and busy.
Wow. And then, yeah, definitely bodybuilding, when it comes to time, I call it time efficiency because you can't really manage something that's going to keep going. So it
No.
is makes you so much more time efficient because there is no minute to waste. Like that's usually a moment to rest, but you can't just kind of wake up and say, what am I going to do today? Like the night before, what's the plans for tomorrow? And I feel like even coming out of bodybuilding now for the foreseeable future, it's still helping me keep that same idea with what my schedule looks like now.
Yes. Yeah.
So I have a question right off the bat because you said it and I want to dive right in.
Yeah.
Cooking with children. I am
Mhm.
terrified. So obviously we do not have a child yet. We have a puppy, but I'm a planner. So I like to know as much ahead of time. And I do hear a lot about people having a hard time because you don't want to restrict your kids too much, but then you also don't want so much temptation in the house. Like, what is your style when it comes to cooking with kids?
I would say I have been very fortunate and blessed. First of all, my ex-husband, so I was married for almost 18 years, and now we
Hmm.
have transitioned into co-parenting together in the same household. And he is very supportive. So usually I try to make sure or try to do most of my prep if I can, but it does not work because he's an international opera singer. So he travels a lot. So I do have to cook. But my kids, they're so used to mommy being in prep or this is her sport. They're used to me having cooking their meals and then I have my own meals. Now it's the
Mm,
making of lunches and it's the temptation of not being a human garbage disposal, right? Because kids
right.
at that age, they don't finish all of their food. So it's like the temptation of not trying to say, I'm going to finish it for you, but, just basically like, okay, bye bye. Bye bye, little chicken nugget. I can't have your
Right.
chicken. That's not
And
going in
put
my.
something on top of it just in case I get tempted.
Yeah, so I would say, overall, usually if I'm in prep and if dad is around, he is the primary cook. He is the better cook. They know
Hmm.
mom is going to healthify most meals. So, but and
I call
overall,
it
the kids,
dryify for me.
yeah,
A little
and
dry. It's a little dry.
overall, the kids are so used to a healthy diet. And I think, when you start kids out early, introducing them to different types of foods, they become more likely that's just their norm to eat healthy food. So
Yeah.
I would say overall, our household is a healthy household. So, my oldest kid, see, he'll crave lamb chops, at a young age. He was like,
Yes.
okay, I want some lamb chops. And
Where's the
they're
filet mignon?
Yes, they're used to having pretty decent food. And now,
Uh-huh.
since we're here, even my 7-year-old, he'll ask me for a protein shake, or he was like, Mommy, I talk to them just like I'm talking to anyone else about macros. So if he's not finishing his chicken, I'll say, You have to finish your protein. And now he knows, Mommy, I finished my protein. Or I'll say, You have to.
Right.
So they're familiar too with the terms of, okay,
Yeah.
you eat your protein, you need to eat your vegetables. If you want to eat that rest of the rice, you need to eat some of it, but I'm not going to force you, but you're going to finish all of your protein. it's
Look,
it's
can I just take a moment and give a shout out to to parents who talk to their kids like they're human beings. Like, let's have some real conversation. Let me put you on for making their palate eclectic. Look, I didn't even need any questions because you're just giving me each one as it comes. Okay, so you're co-parenting in the same household. You're going for this pro card. You have 3 kids. I often talk about people criticize what they crave. Do you ever find yourself dealing with people who suddenly have an opinion about how you run things in your household, especially when it came to doing all of this and being in prep? What do you normally say? Do you say anything? Are they coming to you later like, oh, can you help me? Can you teach me? What is your experience around that?
Well, as I mentioned, I was married for 18 years, and just at the norm of being married to an international opera singer, he travels a lot. So not only do I get the taste of being the primary parent, I call myself like the parent mode, because he will be
Mhm.
gone. You're into the arts. When it's an opera or something, he's gone from the time he needs to rehearse until the shows,
Until
and
open.
shows.
Yeah.
So he could be gone for 3 months at a time, and
Right.
I'm here. Yes, and so that's our dynamics, and that has been our dynamics for years. He started out. He actually just made his Met debut last year. So it's been our dynamic.
Wait,
So
put his
we
name out there. Go ahead. What's his name?
Eric Green.
All right, look, somebody might be at the opera one day and be like, who it is? Okay.
Yes, yes. So our dynamics have always been a little different than the typical household. So you always have people like, oh, you're doing, and I've always done prep when he's not here. Like,
Mhm.
I, even in general, when it comes to dealing with life, birthdays, events, usually I'm so used to being independent when it comes to scheduling. If he's here, he's here. Holidays, because the arts, he's got to work, right?
Yeah,
So
yep.
it's always been a different household. So you do have onlookers and people like, oh, how does that work? But I also know that bodybuilding has helped keep me grounded, because when you do have to you wear so many hats, right? And
Right.
I think it's one of those sports that I feel that it gives me something for myself. And that's the thing, like when you do become a mom, you feel like everyone takes. And now I do walk in multiple roles, as a entrepreneur, a business owner,
Mhm.
a mom. In this sport, it's my hobby and my love and my passion. It has helped me to have something for myself and keep
Oh,
something
I
for me.
love that.
Yeah. And
Yeah. I remember going, oh, go ahead.
I think that's important. And, I always tell people, especially women and moms, you have to find your thing, because if not, life will just suck you dry.
Mic drop.
Hmm.
Yeah, as a life coach, I have coached a lot of moms, and I always tell them, like, I will never tell you how to raise your own kids. That's not my ministry yet, but I can show you how to put them first by putting you first. And
Hmm.
because you are the example. And if you show them that whenever someone comes into their life, they completely lose their identity, they will end up emulating that. And then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. What you try to not show them, you end up showing. And I love that you're like, well, in my household, this is what works for us. So as long as it works for us, it doesn't matter what everyone else is thinking. Different strokes, different folks. So
Yes.
I absolutely love that. So I've got a question.
Okay.
I did a little bit of digging. I might have gone back to like your first ever bodybuilding post. Maybe, maybe not. But you said this is a spiritual journey of dedication to God's way, nurturing my body and spirit. So, as a Christian woman, how does faith influence your approach to bodybuilding and daily life? You know, we're in, these tight clothes, we're in our bikinis, we're strutting for the gram. So have you ever also dealt with people being like, hold on, a good Christian woman doesn't, a good Christian woman with kids, all of the thing. If you're not watching, if you're listening in, I'm shaking my finger and furling my brows. But as a Christian woman, how has God just shown up for you, and how has he allowed you to be a light for others in bodybuilding?
That's a good question. Oh my gosh. The first thing that comes to mind is seasons. And that's what I know about, like, if I have to make the correlation between bodybuilding, my faith, and where the connection, it teaches you, about seasons, how everything really has a time and a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And I did another podcast and I mentioned about, like, bodybuilding, how there's a time to grow our muscles growth. There's a time that we're in the deficit, and there's a time where we're just maintaining. And I can see how that really, in our faith and where we are sometimes in our faith. Sometimes we're just like on the high, right? Life is good. Right. And sometimes we're in those valleys and we're like, okay, God, what's the lesson here? And what's the lesson? But it's only a season. And bodybuilding, it's like it teaches you to appreciate every season. And I do remember my first, as far as like your appearance, right? Because we are in these tiny bikinis.
My daddy calls them dental floss. My 2-piece dental floss. Yes.
The first part is my mom. I still remember my mother attending my first show, and my sisters, but my mother. And she was like, everyone is naked around here. Why is everyone naked? But she was so supportive. They were so supportive. And even posting. I remember the first time I posted my bikini pictures, I was afraid to even post my pictures on social media. I did have one person in general unfollowed me because I guess it was a little bit too much. So for me, I try not to post the back shot as much as just the front shot. But now I'm growing into an appreciation for front and back, because we work our butts off, literally.
Quite literally, okay.
Yeah. And there it's beauty, and it's something about understanding the sport. And I guess you have to educate people what they're looking for. So I like to have conversations to say, look, we're just not turned around that back pose. They're looking for XYZ. And I worked hard for XYZ and to get here. So now I can appreciate both and understand, look, if you don't understand it, that's fine. You have every right to unfollow or just grow. Just grow.
Right. Mm-hmm. You can even mute now. Now you won't even hurt my feelings.
Yeah,
that makes complete sense. And my pastor talks a lot about, like, you don't know what God has for you to do through everything. So someone may say, oh, bodybuilding and Christianity, they cannot intermix. But if you're following anyone like Amber P, Michelle, like, you're seeing that there is something coming to the light, and God will use every situation, the supermarket, the gym, you coming out the bathroom stall, somewhere, and then someone's like, oh my God, like, you look beautiful, and you start talking, you never know. And I think sometimes, like, we can look at a bikini on stage and be like, but then we'll see someone, at the beach, it's like, oh, it's because the environment is different for you. So yeah, we're teaching people and educating people. And sometimes for those that have listened to the first episode, I talked about, I didn't follow Britt. I don't know if you know this story, but my friend Sarah kept trying to connect me to Britt, and I was not for it. I was like, she is too girly. It's too much. It's too much femininity. And it was because of my own insecurities about what femininity meant to me. And the moment we clicked, I was like, nothing happens by accident. Timing was perfect. But I was like, man, what a missed opportunity that could have been. Now we have a whole podcast. We're building the vlog squad. We had a website dropping. It'll be dropped by the time this comes out. We got we're planning things. And so sometimes we can get in our own way because they may see you. Because I know one of the things that I see at the gym all the time, well, because I'm older now. Because we start to put these excuses in front of us. Or my favorite is if I'm at the nail shop, oh, they're definitely taking stuff. Are you saying that because you think that's the secret? Or are you saying that because you're not putting in the time, attention, and education to better yourself? And that could be the only way. So shout outs to you for, still bringing God to the forefront, still showing us that you can do all things at every season in your life. I think that is so incredible.
And it is. And just to take it down a little, deeper, I think bodybuilding, I mentioned that I was married for 18 years. And when I decided to get a divorce, I prepped through a year of the legal separation, and I did not tell a soul. I did not tell a soul. I did not tell my family. I did not tell my best friends because I felt there was something I needed to do on my own. But I did have a great therapist, and I, consulted those one wise friend. But that time of prep, it allowed me to understand bodybuilding was something I could control, to help me to get through the things that I couldn't necessarily control. And I just had to walk it out and walk out life. And then there was my faith to help keep me grounded. But it was also this sport to help me, in those mornings. I remember those cardio sessions, reading my devotions, help me to have a routine to make sure I start my day a certain type of way with my faith, and understand that nothing happens and nothing takes God by surprise. And just to get me through that season of life.
Absolutely. And that was going to be one of my questions, is what were some of the challenges that you've had going for that card? Was the card always the goal? Or was that the first goal of many to come? Like, I know you said I'm gonna do a one and done, but once your foot hit that stage, once you got off, how far did you see the vision?
Oh my
gosh. Were you like Olympia? Like, what were you thinking?
Okay. So first of all, let's just go back a couple of years. I had no idea. So I started with a natural federation, and I just thought, oh, I can't. I'm not. I just didn't think NPC would be my path, and because I just didn't think I was good enough, really. And it wasn't until I met a young lady, and she said, you should do an NPC show. And I said, okay, I'll go ahead and do it, but I don't know. And she was really into the pro card. So, I did my first show, NPC, and I said, oh, I like this. And then it was just my community. And another girl was like, well, I'm going to go for my pro card. And I said, well, I don't know if I'm going to necessarily go for the pro card, but let's just see. Then I did my first national competition, and that's 2019. And I placed 6th, so right outside the top 5. So that did give me a little motivation to keep going. But then life happened. I mentioned to you last year that I was going to go to nationals, but I decided mentally I wasn't ready, because I just had enough, and I understand the emotional stress of everything I was dealing with. So I decided, I did one show last year and decided, look, I can't even make it to nationals. And I was okay with it. I did the Clash show, which I'm a huge fan of Clash. I told Joe, I said, when I come back here, I'm going to come back as a pro.
I know that's right.
So I can't wait to go back as a pro. But just understanding, like, bodybuilding really has taught me to own where I am, to appreciate the journey. And it's okay if you change your mind as a woman. If you look, I was okay with saying, you know what, I did this one show and I'm okay. We're gonna go to the nationals another time. And I'm so happy I decided to wait and just decide to do that one show and then find another coach. I found another coach. I worked on my health. I decided to look into hormonal replacement therapy, and that has been a game changer. I am 45 years old, and I tell you, those the hormones are something else, especially with this sport. It really impacts a woman's health and how you feel. So I'm glad I decided to pause last year to get my health together, to give myself space because a lot was happening and at home, and to sit and feel what I was feeling and to process all of it. And then to say, okay, I'm in a better place. And I tell you, this year when I started prep, when I actually started competing in June, the prep in general, it was just much better. It was smoother. It was much smoother because I was mentally in a better place. So I'm glad I was able to pause and to realize where I was. And I approached this year with doing DC Pro Am was my first show, and I met so many people. I knew I was going to go to nationals, and I knew I was going to give it my all. But the journey and the people I met, the YouTube videos, I'm telling you, I felt like there was a whole community out there. So I think that was even empowering to keep me going and to keep me motivated. Your journey and where you were with your prep.
I feel like you preaching to me right now. I'm like, oh, so you knew exactly what I was going through.
Yes, I did. I followed, and to see so many of us there too, and we're all in the same boat. It was so empowering that by the time I got to Universe, I knew it was a good package I brought, but I knew I could do better. So when I went to Universe and I just made the top 5, I knew I could improve because it's just something else being on the stage. Once you get on there, you can practice all day long. But when you get on that stage, you're like, what happened?
Right.
What did I do? I didn't there was things I knew I could have worked on. So when I went to Masters National, my goal was to finish strong. My goal was to go there fighting. I was like, you know what? Y'all about to be in a fight. I'm about to fight all y'all because I'm bringing my best.
Ready. I know that's
I
right.
love y'all. I'm going to talk to you, but guess what? I'm about to fight you on the stage. And that's what I did. I gave my best. And that's all. Now, I had no idea. You could not tell with Masters National, when it came to the placing, the judges, they did a great job because literally I couldn't tell if I was in first or second place. I didn't know, but I knew I gave my best and I was okay with whatever outcome. My job was to go there and lay it all out on the table, give my best, and whatever happens, happens. And just so happens, it worked in my favor.
2 pro card. Honey, she said, I'm not only coming to fight. Oh, thank you too. Sorry, girl. So sorry. But, double the chance. Got to go for it. Okay.
Right.
Oh my gosh. I feel so seen. I feel so heard. Like, I am not someone who has ever really identified mental health issues. Words like anxiety and overwhelm were not a part of my vocabulary. And I think part of that was the expectation that has been placed on me, that I have placed on myself of like, Aurelia has it all together. Nothing ever bothers her. And I started to notice these moments, and it actually was the vlogs that brought it to light for me as well. My same friend that connected Britt and I just messaged me one day, like, you okay? She's like, not that I'm going to your vlogs just for entertainment, but something is not right. You are not being yourself. The light is dim. You don't look like you're having fun. And it wasn't until Britt literally came on FaceTime with me and was like, I'm not forcing you to do anything, but she's like, just so you know, you don't have to do Universe. And I had been planning to do it because we planned to do this together. This was our thing. We were going to get our cards together. Like, we had this whole scenario set up. And when she said that, it planted the seed of like, if she's saying that, that's really her going, friend, if you like it, I love it. but I personally don't like it. Like, she's like, I feel like I lost my friend. She said, once I came out on the other side. And so I remember being on the stage for 35 plus and literally saying, please give me third place. Please don't make me have to choose to go to nationals because I got second, because I'm qualified. And when they said third place, I just felt this incredible level of peace. I packed my stuff, grabbed Bay. We went and hit sushi because we hadn't decided what we were going to do yet. And I woke up that morning ready to talk to my coach. And I was like, this is it. Like, there's no nationals after this. I was like, and for the foreseeable future, we have other plans at hand, and that's going to require. And so it's been very interesting being on my own now of like 3 days. I've been my own coach, which has been pretty cool.
Yay.
But I would love to hear about your decision to change coaches, how your experience has been with your coach. Because a lot of times people are running to the Reddit now. How is your coach? And you get caught up in that, you're in trouble. I like to go to people one-on-one. What attracted you to your new coach? Did you feel like it was just time? And what are you guys working on now, if you'd like to share?
Yeah, it's so funny because you mentioned some pivotal points about what I feel like we're in the sisterhood era where we are experiencing the gift of friendship and the gift of sisterhood. Just as you mentioned how Britt came to you, I feel like I'm surrounded by good women, by good people that they just want the best for me, and I want the best for them. So I'm so happy we're here in this era where we're trying to uplift one another, and we are more sensitive to how we feel, first of all, right? And we're like, okay, what's going on with you? And I'm so happy about we're in this era of just not being by ourselves. No man is an island, and now we can have a sisterhood and we can feel comfortable and safe. So I just wanted to mention that. Now, as far
and
as
a long distance at that, a lot of us live nowhere near each other.
Yep.
And it's so beautiful that with social media, YouTube, that we're able to connect, and we're able to, situation with like Simone Biles, where like that gave so many women the permission to say, like, I don't need to be your strong Black woman.
Yes.
Unless it's for me first.
Exactly. I understand. Look, I had all of my babies natural, no medication, nothing, all 3.
I Googled the epidermal needle last week. I just needed to know ahead of time. I already know my ministry. I couldn't even get my nose pierced without playing music. Okay. I can't get my finger pricked at the doctor. I can't get blood taken without music. I can't go to the dentist without music. So let me I didn't know I had more flowers under here, but let me just throw some more at you. Okay. We're gonna have to have a, as the corporate people say, we'll have to do like a sidebar after this.
Sidebar, yeah. But even with that, I realized that going through life and where I am now, like just because the stigma of being that strong Black woman. No, we're not, and we don't. I really don't like people to call me a superwoman any longer. I get a little offended. Although
like Wonder Woman.
Yes, Wonder Woman. No, we're not. And that's what I've learned to understand. No, I want to be loved. I want to be taken care of, and it's okay. I want to have downtime. That's why I love this sport, because this sport, when I do my shows, most of the time I don't invite people. I don't care if anybody comes. Most of the time, y'all can cheer me on, but that's my time to get away and just be. Usually I'm just like, oh, I'll see you guys in the event. Everyone in my household, Mom, we'll look at you on live stream. Have fun, go get them, right? Because that's just my time to myself and to unwind and to enjoy the atmosphere. But it wasn't until I met this young lady it was a posing seminar that the Virginia area we put on. And I remember she mentioned something about her coach and how he helped with her gut health. So I started to follow her, and I started to follow her coach. David, I think his name is Dynamite D on
Dynamite D. I've been following those like 12-week out, 9 weeks
yeah.
out. And I'm like, I told you I wasn't ready. It says it right.
Yes, but I connected with her coach, and I remember the hormonal because I was having issues right after the class show, and I had an interview with him, and he said, I can definitely work with you, but I prefer to control all of your food sources, right? So get your hormones and your health up to control. And he was the first one that told me to get blood work done. So I started to work with an integrative healthcare center in my local area. But when I tell you the guy, David is so good. He was like my second unofficial doctor. Like he was able to look at my blood work, and even what my doctor said, it was just confirmation. And he'll ask me more questions to ask my doctor. So I started to work with him just because it was something a young lady said at one of those posing seminar, and I started just to follow him and see what he was talking about and see how he responded to certain people. And when I tell you, he has, I think when it comes to like the coaching and client, you got to have a connection. There's got to be personality things that needs to click, because I really loved my coach, my previous coach, Kaylee. She was good from Pro Physique. No longer with Pro Physique, but Kaylee was great and she was very understanding. But I had too many hormonal issues and my preps were just too hard. I was grinding too much, and I said, this is not sustainable. So I need to pause and figure out some other stuff. So working with David, I just met David in person for the first time at Universe. And when I say it was an instant connection, David and his wife, it was just like we've known each other, just the way it's a family. And I don't use that term lightly, even when it comes to my business and my work environment. No, we're not necessarily family at business. No,
Like third cousins, but that's not really.
no, we're a team, but we're not a family. But when it comes to the relationship with David and his wife, it was an instant connection. I mean, I think he's very passionate about his job. He's very passionate about the sport. He shares so much good information. So I think we will get to do some damage and climb together. And I feel like we both, okay, we're going to go for the journey. We're in it for the journey. It's not so much to win pro shows. It wasn't, we wanted to get the pro card, but we wanted just to bring our best, because we don't know who's going to show up that day. He wasn't promising me a pro card, but we said we're going to put a first call package out there. And that's what we did.
Wow. Yeah, that's beautiful. I have a hard time with goodbyes. So like sending my coach a message, my last vlog for that series, like I was like, I'm not gonna cry, I'm a New York girl. And of course I start crying. I'm like, because when I first started, the person that I first worked with for like a month and a half was a horrible experience. So when you're like at the bottom, you feel crazy, you feel like this is never gonna work, and then someone picks you up and just has been nothing but a support system for 3.5 years. I'm like, I talk to you once a week for over 182 weeks. I don't send anybody any check-in that much other than Britt. So it really is a relationship. And sometimes that breakup can be tough. But like you said, when it's time to move forward, when you're having like issues with gut, like all those things, when you're starting to get down to the nitty gritty, you have to find that person and they understand. It's probably just a me thing. I just feel so, so you're in improvement season now. Is that correct? Or is it on its way?
Yes,
I thought I
I
saw a
am.
post today.
Yes, girl. Okay, so after that show,
What did you
I
eat?
well, I did not go crazy because I realized that now I'm a pro. So I don't want to, there's certain limitations, right? And I've heard too many podcasters to say, don't go on vacation right after a show. That's not the best thing. So I had, I
I
had
did.
one
Of
week
course, I
home.
went to Vancouver with Shantae and Andrea. Lord have mercy. A
That's
time
okay.
was
That's
had.
okay.
A
That's
time was.
okay.
But
It was
continue.
fun.
Continue.
It was fun. So I was home and I had a good meal. So Masters Universe, we were in Pittsburgh. So I came home and I had a good brunch. I wanted a good brunch. And I had a little bit of this, a little bit of that. but not too bad. And then I did go to Miami for a week last week, which was so fun because that's where I kind of ate whatever I want, but I made sure to work out almost every day. And I did classes, I did functional training, I met new people. I just made a big fun while I was eating, but I sure did enjoy myself. I had so many pastries. It wasn't funny, but they were good. It was good. It was worth my calories, right? So now today was the first day that, because and mentally I needed just to take a break. Mentally everything starts within the mind, so I was okay with still watching what I'm intuitively eating, I guess we would call it that, but mentally I just needed time away from the
That
trainer.
reset. Mhm.
Yes, a reset from checking in, taking those pictures that yeah, so I've taken about three
With a
weeks off.
death face in the morning, like body is giving, but the face is like, don't talk to me.
Yes, yes. And he says that my David tells me I got a mean look every most check-ins, right? So I just took that break. But today was the first day I was in the gym and I was just like, oh, okay. Because I mentally already told myself I'm checking in on Monday. It's time to get into the improvement season. So, and I felt like, okay, I'm ready to go into an improvement season and work on my feedback. So from Universe is all and Masters Nationals, we're bikini girls, and it's always build the glutes, right? Build more glutes. And actually, Etala, she told me from Masters National to now, since I'm going to the Pro League, now it's time to continue to build that S figure, the hourglass figure, and to build more lats. So I'm just like, oh, okay.
Say less. Where's the pull down machine? Okay.
Yes.
Just yes.
Yeah, so I'm so excited that I did not get the feedback of conditioning, because I think as a Black girl, it's hard for us to get lean. It's always been hard. So to go into my national shows, into all my shows this year, DC Pro Am, all of my shows, I did not hear anything about my conditioning, and that right there was the win.
That's the real win right there. Yeah. Especially like when I watch some of these vlogs and people are like, they start the vlog with a burger and they end the vlog with a burger. I'm like, oh, that's never my issue. Like if I come in and they say you're too lean, I'll just retire at that point. Like you really should talk to me nicely, because the way my conditioning is set up, it's like it's under there. You just got to get underneath the hood. So I'm so glad to hear that you took that reset, that y'all are heading into this improvement season. So I think the real question is that everyone wants to know, especially after that interview you did, is when are we getting a vlog?
Oh, wait a minute. A vlog. I thought she was gonna ask me, oh, so when are you gonna make your pro debut?
No, but because guess where we'll find that out at? In the vlog. So when are we getting the Gwen Green experience? Look, I done already gave it a name. When are we getting into this GGE? You know, I love a good acronym. You have just such a light, such a stage presence, such an on-camera presence that the girls are working on, okay?
Oh,
I would love some car chronicles, comment corners, like just a day in the life of a boss. Like, when are we? I'm putting you on the spot. I really am. I'm gonna be honest.
I don't know. And then I also mentioned that I am a doctor, a PhD of information technology, security engineering stuff. But yes, I do not know. That's a good. I don't know how you guys do it. It seems like such hard work. I
No,
look at you.
you got a phone. You just need a phone holder that turns sideways, and you can do most of your stuff in the car. That's what we do.
I
But you
know.
watch them so much, so you kind of see the flow. I don't know. I just feel like there's YouTube is so huge now that it's just another outlet for like,
Mhm.
at least when I started in 2021, this did not exist. People were vlogging, but not this consistent, not this honest, and they definitely didn't look like us.
No, you're
And we
right.
don't have that many pros doing it.
No, you
You a
don't.
pro. I mean, you've been a pro in the mentality, but you got the cord behind you, two cords. Excuse me.
Yes,
Put some
yes.
respect on her PhD Doctor Two cards, okay? Look, the Doctor Two card experience. I've already gave you two series. But we want to hear your voice. I know everybody else, I've called them out via Instagram story, but you get into live right now. Like you, something that someone said to us, we're talking about SWV, for those that don't know, that Sisters with Vlogs, and people are like, it's something about y'all videos. And it's like, we're not trying, first of all, it's for us, really, first and foremost, to document. When I look back at my first prep, I'm like, oh my gosh, the things I know now, I didn't realize then. The things I was putting myself through, I didn't know. But then secondly, it's what you experienced to get you through that cardio, to be like, oh my gosh, I was there, sis. Like, keep pushing. It's another outlet for us to connect, for us to share. And you have an incredible story. You are an incredible story. And I just hope for Christmas or for my birthday, which is September 19th, even if you just put out a video, just one video, just you sitting and being like, what's up, y'all? I think you may get the bug like you did with bodybuilding. Remember, it was a one and done.
Yes,
I think you
yes.
may get the bug. So I just want to throw that challenge out there, because you were the first person we thought of,
Wow.
and not to say
Okay.
that I was like, oh, but we saw and we were like, literally, Britt was like, have you seen her? Britt has never sent me anyone's interviews. She was like, did you see her interview? I was like, no, girl, send it over. She was like, oh my God, like, we're so hyped for you. And the vlog squad is about to blow up, right? So we have the squad, which is everybody.
Mhm.
Anybody who's attached to us is the squad. So you're already part of the squad. But we want you in the vlog squad, so that as people, are going for their pro card, people like me can
Yes.
see, like, and that was going to be part of my final question, is like, is there anything you want to share for those? We have people on here who have done their first show this year and are experiencing their first reverse. Ooh, child. We have people who have been going for this for 10 years. We have people that have been doing this for over 10, 15 years. Like, anything that you want to share with people about perseverance, about pushing through, about that commitment, and then let us know where we can find you, how we can find you, other than that one video you're going to make for us. How can we get and stay connected to you?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So, what tidbit of advice I would give? I would say, bodybuilding, it started out to be a hobby for me. And in some way, it's still a good hobby, but now it's become a passion. And I think for me, it's a passion because how I connected to real life. And as I mentioned already, the seasons of life. Bodybuilding will take you through some seasons. It will take you through the ups and it will take you through the downs. But what I've known is the consistency and the perseverance, and how that translates and is like a transactional thing, right? You give to your sport, it's going to give something to you. So even with life and every journey at parenting, business, if you understand whatever you put into it, that's what you're going to get out. That's life. That's like, what are we going to put in? Are we going to put joy? Are we going to put surround ourselves with good people? What are we going to put in our systems, in our minds? It reminds me, bodybuilding reminds me, if you got junk in, junk is going to come out. If you fill your body with good food, it's going to perform for you. So I would say, just try to have something for yourself, even if it's not bodybuilding. Let's say someone is watching this and they're not into getting into the stage. I think health is wealth. So I want everyone to realize that we should be doing something to move, find a class, find something that, especially women, you got to find something for you, because life will suck you dry. So try to find something, I call it your thing. Find your thing, whether that's pickleball, because that's really popular these days. But it's
I've
time.
been seeing that on Instagram. Am I late
And
to the
yeah, you're
pickleball
late.
game?
Yeah, people are building courts. They're tearing down whole basketball courts to make a pickleball court at my gym. So yes, and we have one. Yeah, most gyms. But I'm saying, find something for you, because we women, we wear so many roles. Even if you don't have children right now, you still wear so many roles. We all wear roles. And now, even with your life, Aurelia, and where you may be going, and one day with children, you're going to remember this. Always have something for yourself, and you're just starting another chapter. you may have like decided, hey, I'm gonna not do this any longer, but you're starting a fresh chapter. You may be starting another book. Time will tell, and it's just
I need
part
to
of
be
your
writing
story.
a book too. Look, speak over my life.
Yeah, I tell people, I said, everything is part of the story, but it's not the entire story. And even when it comes to me, and bodybuilding kept me grounded, going through a rough time in my life, going through a divorce. I wanted forever marriage. I wanted 40 years or more, but that's not part of my story. But it doesn't define me. It's part of the story, but it's not the entire story.
Right. I think what I find so inspiring is like your level of peace and content. I always tell
Mhm.
people like that's really the key of what attracts people is when you see how grounded someone is. Well, two things. Either you're both so grounded that attraction is there, or this person's floating so much that they're
Mhm.
like, wow, what is it about them? Or you're grounded and you're like, what are you doing up there? Like, come on down. So to hear that, like, this is my life, this is how I'm designing it, this is how God has made it for me, and I accept what is. So it's really
Mhm.
like that level of meditation, right? Releasing what's in the past. The past doesn't need us anymore. The future is a plan, a goal, a path, a prediction. But if I can get content with what is right now, I'm always going to win.
Yes, and that's it. You hit the nail on the head. I think if it's being content and being grateful, but still looking forward to what the future may hold for you,
And
and
being
be
ambitious. Okay, we're going to always be right. We're going to
yes.
always reach for it. Well, where can we stay in touch with you? How can we get connected?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so for the I have so many platforms. So I would say for fun, so my Instagram is for food, fitness, and fashion. So that's Gwen Woman, and I think I added the underscore IFBB Pro now. Woo!
We're going to
Although
put it in the show notes. Don't you worry. Woo, woo, woo.
okay. Yeah, so that's my Instagram, and then LinkedIn for all my cybersecurity entrepreneur business stuff. You can find me on LinkedIn, Gwen Green, and find out what that life is about because I'm pretty active over there as well. And then Facebook as well. But that's my private. That's where I keep my family, people I know, so I won't have stalkers because I do post the children on Facebook.
The killer be out there. We can't have it. Okay. As Shantae said, the killer be out there. Well, thank you
Right,
again.
Shante.
You know, that's my girl. Thank you again. Thank you to everybody for watching. Please share this episode with anyone. Doesn't matter if they're into bodybuilding. If they see health as any type, health, wealth, womanhood, ownership, parenting, all the things, please, please, please share this. That's the most important thing. That's how we've been able to grow, right? Is that your reach is bigger than ours alone. And thank you so much, Gwen, for being our first ever guest, and we appreciate you. And
Thank,
we're signing off. Bye,
thank
y'all.
you. Bye.